Welcome back to another episode of Chilling Tales, where I share scary stories sent in by you guys. Make sure to send in your own stories using the form in the description. Also, please remember to like this video and subscribe for more scary content. And now, without further ado, let's begin. Today's story is from a user. This happened to me about 2 years ago, when I was visiting family in my hometown of Vancouver, British Columbia. I grew up there, but moved away around. Flynn, 2013. I was walking home one night with some friends at about 4 a.m. after drinking, and we walked past the old elementary school that was closed down years ago. The school had been abandoned since I was in maybe 3rd grade. My friend and I decided to walk through the school and see what kind of graffiti or vandalism had occurred while it was abandoned. As we were walking through the school, which had become quite overgrown with weeds growing through the cracks in the concrete, we came across a pair of doors that led outside. I opened them expecting to see a set of stairs, and instead was met with total darkness. Being the curious guy that I am, I asked my buddy if he wanted to check it out, and he agreed. As we stepped into the unknown, our eyes began to adjust to the darkness. We could see that we were in a long hallway. There were doors lining both sides of the hall, and at the end was a faint glow. I told my friend that I had a flashlight on my phone, and I turned it on just in time for the battery to die. Typical, it was now pitch black. My heart started racing, and I began to feel uneasy. At this point, my buddy and I started to panic and look for the exit. We started to hear footsteps coming closer. We could hear them on the floor above us, getting louder and louder. At this point, I was certain that we weren't alone. We ran for the doors that we came in from, but they were locked. We started screaming for help and banging on the doors. Finally, someone came and opened them. It was my brother. He had come to look for me because I had even texted him that I had arrived home yet. When he opened the door, he looked at us with a surprised expression and said, "What are you doing here? You know that this place is closed." I explained to him what had happened and that the doors were locked from the inside. He checked the time on his phone and said, "It's 3:57 a.m. How were you guys even still out?" Then he turned to me and said, "You need to get your head checked. That place is closed, and there's no way anyone was in there with you." Of course, I knew that he didn't believe me, and I just chalked it up to a vivid imagination. I felt stupid and embarrassed for making a huge deal over nothing. But as we continued walking home, I began to feel that something was watching me. The next day, I told my sister what had happened, and she admitted that she and her friend had seen me and my buddy entering the school and had thought nothing of it. But she did tell me that she found it strange that I hadn't texted my mom yet, so she went to go check on me. She then saw my phone lying on the sidewalk beside the school and picked it up. She tried to call my number, but it went straight to voicemail. The weird thing is that my phone had been dead the night before, and I had forgotten to plug it in. When she finally got a hold of me, I told her everything that had happened, and she suggested that I should go back to the school during the day and check it out. I returned to the school later that day with my sister and her boyfriend. We walked through the front doors and noticed that they had been propped open. The three of us explored the school for a bit, but didn't find anything too interesting. I checked the library and my sister went to check out the music room. Her boyfriend waited in the doorway, and as she walked in, he called out to her jokingly, "Hey, do you want to play a game of hide and seek?" And then she disappeared. We searched for her for a bit, but couldn't find her anywhere. Then we heard her voice calling out for us from what sounded like the basement. The basement access was sealed off with concrete walls, and there were no doors or stairs leading down there. To get to the basement level, we would have to dig a hole in the wall. We found her in the basement and asked her what she was doing down there. She replied, "I don't know. I just felt drawn to come down." Then all three of us heard footsteps coming from above. We rushed to the hole in the wall and hid in the space between the concrete. I don't think that it would have been enough to hide her boyfriend, but I'm pretty sure that neither of us would have survived if we had been caught. We stayed in that small crevice for hours until we heard the sound of police sirens and voices above. Apparently, the local police were doing a sweep of the area to make sure that there were no squatters in the buildings. After the coast was clear, we escaped and never went back. I still wonder who or what was hiding down there. I also wonder if my life would be different if I had taken my sister's advice and explored the school the night before. Anyways, thank you so much for listening. If you liked this story, please leave a like and subscribe for more content. And also, check out the links below for more of my content. Anyways, I hope you have a good night, and goodbye.
Subscribe to my channel.